Show on a graph the region that contains the solutions to the simultaneous inequalities. We have three simultaneous inequalities. So we have x is greater than or equals to 0, which is straightforward. We need to find the values to plot for this inequality and for the third inequality. Does this make sense? Now we need to do it separately. We are going to take the second one first. So we are having y is less than 2x plus 2. Now remember, the first step is to turn this into an equation. So we'll be having y equals to 2x plus 2. Then we put x equals to 0 and find y. So let x equals to 0. Put it into this equation. We are going to be having y equals to 2. Anywhere we see x, we call it 0. So into bracket 0 plus 2. Do you understand? So we'll be having y equals to 2 times 0 is 0. So we have 0 plus 2. So this means that y equals to 0 plus 2 is 2. So if we have the first value, it would be 0, 2. Don't forget x, y. Now the next step would be to put y equals to 0 and find x. But before we do that, we need to rewrite the equation. So we have let y equals to 0. And then we put that into the equation. We'll be having 0 equals to 2x plus 2. We are trying to find x, so 2 goes to the other side. We'll be having minus 2 equals to 2x. And then to find x, we divide both sides by the coefficient of x, which is 2. So divide both sides by 2. 2 here 1, we have 2 here 1. 2 here 1, we have 2 here 1. So we have minus 1 equals to x. And if minus 1 equals to x, it means that x equals to minus 1. So the second set of values will be having minus 1, 0. Don't forget x, y. Alright, so we need to do the same thing to the third inequality. So if I change the color here, I'll be having y minus 2 is less than or equals to minus x. Now before we take the first step, we need to make y the subject of the formula. So minus 2 goes to the other side. We'll be having y is less than or equals to minus x plus 2. I hope you understand. So we can turn this into an equation. Y equals to minus x plus 2. Put x equals to 0 and find y. So let x equals to 0. We'll be having y equals to minus 0 plus 2. Now minus 0 plus 2 is equals to 2. So y equals to 2. So it means that the first set of values is 0, 2. I hope you understand. So we go to the next step, but before we go to the next step, we need to write the equation minus x plus 2. Now the next step, we put y as 0 and then we find x. So let y equals to 0. Put it into the equation. We are going to be having 0 equals to minus x plus 2. Then to find x, 2 has to go to the other side. So this will be 0 minus 2 equals to minus x. 0 minus 2 is minus 2. So we are going to be having minus 2 equals to minus x. To find x, we divide both sides by the coefficient of x, which is minus 1 in this case. Minus cancels minus. Minus cancels minus. 2 divided by 1 is 2. X divided by 1 is x. 2 equals to x, and that means x equals to 2. So the second value, we are going to be having 2, 0. Now, having gotten the values, we can now draw the graph. Can we do that? So we have the y-axis. And then we have the x-axis. So we can write y, we can write x, we can have 1, 2, maybe 3, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. We can have 1, 2. We can have minus 1, minus 2. Now let's plot. Now we are going to skip the first inequality. We are going to come back to it later. So let's try to plot for the second inequality. So the first value here is 0, 2. So we have 0, 2. And then the second value is minus 1, 0. So we have minus 1 comma 0. So let's try to plot. For the first one, remember x comma y. When x is 0, y is 2. So we come to the y-axis and we mark 2. The second one, when x is minus 1, y is 0. So we come on the x-axis and then we mark minus 1. Now, to know the kind of line to use to join the 2 points, we come to the inequality. We have y is less than. So it means that we are going to be using broken lines. So we can join with broken lines. Alright, let's go to the last inequality. For the last inequality, we have this. And so the set of values, we have 0, 2. And then we have 2, 0. So 2, 0. So don't forget x, y. So for the first value, when x is 0, y is 2. So we come on the y-axis and then we mark 2. And then for the second value, when x is 2, y is 0. So we come on the x-axis and then we mark 2. So we need to join these points together. But before we do that, we look at the inequality. The inequality, yes, y is less than or equals to minus x plus 2. Less than or equals to, that is a solid line. So we join the 2 points with a solid line. So we have this. Alright, so we have 3 line graphs. This is the first, this is the second, and this is the third. So they serve like boundaries. But let's confirm what parts we need to shade. So for this inequality, which is the last inequality, we have y is less than or equals to. So it means that the part to be shaded is below the graph. So it's below the graph, so I can just put points to show that it's below the graph. Can you see? Then for the second inequality, we have y is less than 2x plus 2. So that will be less than below the graph also. So we have below the graph. So below, 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 below. And now we can go to our first inequality, which is x is greater than or equals to 0. Now, because x is greater than or equals to 0, it means that the part we are trying to show is on the x-axis, and it's this x-axis here. Do you understand? Now, we are told that it's greater than or equals to, so it's above the x-axis. So we put. Can you see? So if we join these 3 points together, it means that where we'll be shading would be within this triangle. Now look, this has to be below, so we come down. So this shaded part is the part we need to show. Now we can confirm it's below this, it's below this, and it's above this, which means that we are correct. So we can write the shaded region is the required region. I hope you understand.